Welcome, everybody. It is another Sunday night here on the Table Spot. My name is Metal Mike. I am joined here, as always, with the Sin City Wolf himself, Sean. And as always, we throw our ones up for Sean.
Acknowledge me. Don't acknowledge that wannabe ass tribal chief. I'm the
And Cam will be joining us in a few moments. So me and Sean are going to roll with things until Cam joins in. But Sean, it's Sunday. How you doing?
I'll be doing better if my Raiders are playing all right, but it's 9-6. We still got time. It's the second half. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. But step it up, boys. Come on. You did great last week.
You know what's really funny is last week I have the Niners and the Chiefs as my defenses on my fantasy league. And a lot of people are like, why do you have two defenses? Well, when they have their bye weeks, you got to have a defense, and I wanted to be ready. I have arguably two of the best defenses in the league right now, top five. Okay. Now, the Chiefs are on a bye week this week. The Niners played the Jaguars earlier today, beat the Jaguars, handled the Jaguars. But I started the Raiders. I picked up the Raiders on free agency last week. I was like, they're playing the Giants. You know, they have one of their coordinators just became the head coach until the end of the season, until they figure out what they're going to do. I think, and plus, I felt like the Raiders were motivated. I was like, I feel like they are motivated. I'm going to pick up their defense. I feel like they're going to do good. And they scored one more point for me than the Chiefs would have last week. One more point. So, I mean, I won soundly. I won by like 45 points.
Max Crosby says you're welcome.
Thank you, Max Crosby. And that was one of my big focuses. I was like, he is having a hell of a season. I was like, this is one of the reasons why I think this is a good
Mad
idea.
Max, baby. Mad Max.
So this week, it came down to the Chiefs are on the bye week and the 49ers. 49ers are playing. And I was like, but the Niners are playing the Jaguars. Jaguars have a pretty good offense. The other hand, the Raiders, they're playing the Jets. The Jets don't have a very stable offense. They have an offense, but it's not stable. I was like, I have a feeling the Raiders defense is gonna have another field day. So here's the funny thing is as it sits right now, the Raiders defense is giving me 7 points. And I'm only down less than a point right now.
There you go. You still got 2 more quarters left to play.
But I do have the running back for the Broncos and the kicker for the Bills for tomorrow night, and my opponent has Josh Allen, which is the quarterback for the Bills. So,
well,
I have a feeling.
I don't know what to tell you. The Broncos ain't gonna help you then.
I have a feeling I'm probably gonna lose, but at least I went down with a fight, and I could still very well be in first place in my league because all the other people that are kind of under me, I think they all lost today too. So,
And to be fair, whoever picked Aaron Rodgers at the beginning of the season, I'm sorry.
I'll say this, even if he would have stayed healthy and he would have played the season, I don't think he'd be having as good of a year as people think. I think the Jets would still be in the position that they're in right now. They might be slightly better, but I think they would still be in the same position they're in right now as far as where they sit in their division, everything. I did not have them going to the playoffs at all. I did not see Aaron Rodgers helping them at all. I didn't. And maybe next year, depending on who they have, we'll see what happens come off season and stuff, but yeah, I didn't see it happening.
I would say I feel bad for people who are Patriots fans, but I don't.
Honestly, with them, and we're going to get to the wrestling talk in a minute, but with the Patriots, I will say this: Bill Belichick needs to retire. They need to get a new head coach, and they really, really need to think about whether Mac Jones is their guy or not.
They're really exposing themselves as frauds because Without Tom Brady, they ain't shit. And I don't even want to be Tom Brady, but they ain't shit without Brady.
But before we continue, the man is here. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of Cam G's The Boom on Wednesday night, following AEW Dynamite, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Rivet City Radio and off the top media. It is Cam. Cam, what is up?
The beard is here.
What up?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Hanging in there.
That is good. That is good. Cam, we were kind of talking a little bit of football here, just hanging out, talking football, So, your thoughts. How did your team do today?
We won. We played the who did we play? I forget who we played.
Are you Steelers?
Yeah.
You played the Packers.
Yep.
Yeah, y'all beat them. Yeah.
That was an easy win.
Jax, what's up?
Hey, calm down over there, Raiders. Y'all are struggling. So shush.
We're not struggling.
My team had off, but we're 8-1. First place in the whole league. Not even just the NFC East or the NFC.
Y'all are struggling.
They're
struggling.
We're still 8-1. I'm just saying, we're still 8-1. I will say this over this morning for the Red Zone, and again, we're gonna get into the wrestling talk, but we're gonna quickly finish this conversation. Jax was my special guest co-host today on Rivet City Red Zone. Fucking did an amazing job. I appreciate him for coming on, helping me out, because John had some personal stuff going on today. He was out at Monster Mania at a convention. So Jax at last minute jumped in, helped me out with Red Zone today. And me and him had a discussion about Jordan Love and the Packers. And the thing is, and you guys are football fans, quick question for you before we switch gears and get into the wrestling talk. Jordan Love is considered a rookie quarterback, even though he's in his third season. It's his first full year as a starter. He's on the hot seat right now. He's got these next 8 weeks to prove himself, or else the Packers may move on without him. Now, I think the Packers go out, draft a quarterback, and maybe light a fire under him to get him to where they want him to be, instead of writing him off right away. What do you guys think, real quick?
Well, obviously, I think they should give him another year. I think the team is still in shock from losing their star quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and that always leaves. Especially I speak from experience. Even the Steelers, even though they don't want to admit it, they're in rebuild mode. They lost their franchise quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger because he retired.
Yeah.
So anytime a franchise quarterback leaves and he's been there for years and years and years, the team has to kind of pick up the pieces and move on and try to, build something new.
Yeah.
So Jordan Love, to me right now, he's a star. I just don't think he has the star team right now. So I think they need to put some better pieces in place for him.
Exactly.
And I think he's good. I think he's golden. I don't think they should move on from him so fast. And I think they should give him another year at least.
I mean, he's putting the numbers up. His statistics are not bad.
Yeah.
They are not bad at all for a first-year starter. Doing a great job. And I agree with you. They need to put people around him. I mean, they're in their running back position. They're in good hands. They got Aaron Jones, hell of a running back. But they're in a good position. And as far as the Steelers, I'll say this right now. A lot of people would sit there and say, "Oh, they're winning to keep up," but they're winning, and that's the thing. That's all you need to do is win.
Yeah.
You can win by 1 point. You can win by 100 points. It doesn't matter. You're getting that dub at the end of the day. Winning is winning.
I just want to give a shout out to the Lions today. Thank you, Lions. Thank you. So Raiders, just do your job and win, so it could be second place. So we're good. Just win, Raiders, please.
I'll say this: I've been telling people for 2 years now that the Lions were on the up, and nobody wanted to believe me. Nobody. But also, people like to think I don't know the sport. I've only been watching it for 33 years. But I keep telling them the Jets are on their way up, the Lions are on their way up, and the Texans are on their way up.
Well, the Jets can crash down. That's what they can do. They can crash down this game. They ain't no takeoff right now. No.
But their defense they have a really good defense. It's their offense that's really, really lacking, or else they would be up there.
Yeah, they keep getting penalties too and costing them.
That can hurt.
Making me happy too.
That can definitely.
You remember when the Raiders used to have penalties? I remember, and I'm happy they don't.
All right, gentlemen, let's switch some gears here because we are a pro wrestling talk show. It's always nice talking football. Love talking football. I could talk football all day. I can, just like pro wrestling. I talk pro wrestling all day. I think if I had a day of just talking pro wrestling and football, it'd be 50-50. I'm just going to say it right now. It'd be a hard thing to do because when you're on one subject, it's kind of hard to get off that subject. But I'd be a 50-50 day, you know. But we are going to kick things in first. We had a little thing happen this past Monday night. 2 words were said. War games.
War game.
We got Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and oh my gosh, I had my notes. I am taking on the Judgment Day. I got the 4th person written down. But War Games, gentlemen, was announced, obviously, for War Games. The question lies, though, is as far as things go, it's supposed to be a 5-on-5 match, correct?
Yeah.
So, do you think, my first question is, do you think they should keep it steady at 4-on-4? Or do you think both teams need to find a 5th person to make it what the War Games match is a 5-on-5?
What they're going to do, this is what I heard, and I'm pretty damn sure think is going to happen, is Drew McIntyre is going to join the Judgment Day for that side. And then we get an announcement on the Go Home show, because if we get a surprise at Chicago, it's not going to work because everybody thinks it's a certain Chicago native that's going to be in the match. No, we're going to get Randy Orton back on the Go Home show, announced for Cody's team. That's what I feel 100% is going to happen.
So just to cover myself real quick, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, taking on Damian Priest, Dom Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough. Okay, that's the War Game match. Just to kind of fix myself because I had my note right in front of me and I didn't even realize it. That's the funny thing. But I honestly I can agree with you on the Randy Orton return. Doing it at the Go Home show would probably be better than making it a surprise. And this is why I think that would be better, is because if you keep the 5th person a surprise until you get to Chicago, I think Randy Orton walks out, he gets booed more than he gets cheered.
Yeah, because it's not CM Punk. You regret that.
Exactly. That's why I think. So for him to come in at the Go Home show on Raw, or even if they did it on SmackDown, I mean, I know it's a Raw branded thing, but even if they did it on SmackDown the day before the pay-per-view, kind of set people up to, hey, this is who's the 5th person.
I'm just gonna laugh at the meltdown when CM Punk doesn't show up for Survivor Series. That's
Cam, for Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins and Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, who do you think their 5th person should be?
Honestly, I think it's going to be Randy Orton. To be completely honest with you, I think they could easily play that up, and Judgment Day gets a 5th, and then Cody's team will be down a member, and then Cody he'll tell Jay, don't worry, I've got an old friend of mine that I'm gonna give a call and see if he can help us out, and then they never specify who that is, and then come the actual Survivor Series War Games match, Randy Orton's music hits, and I think he's gonna get a massive pop in general. I think you know, what do they always say? They say that the longer somebody's gone, the heart grows fonder. And I think that's the thing with Randy Orton. It definitely it's definitely the case for somebody like John Cena. You know, before it was always like, let's go Cena. Cena sucks. Now it's like he's loved universally by everybody pretty much.
Yeah.
And with Randy being gone for so long, it's been when's Randy coming back? When's Randy coming back? Like for months now. And I think he's going to get a massive pop, probably one of the biggest pops I think he's ever gotten. I think his music is going to hit, and the pop is going to be so loud, like it's going to drown out his music. Like you're not even going to be able to hear voices in my head. Like it's just going to be drowned out by that pop. So I think that's the match that you have Randy come back in.
It'll be the funniest troll ever is when Randy comes back. At first, you hear the static, like that intros to CM Punk's song, but then it goes, you voices. Like,
don't do that. Yeah, we're not trying to have the Chicago crowd riot. Don't do that shit.
So that'd be the biggest fucking troll ever, and I'll love it. I'll be like,
so what we would basically get is the I hear voices in my head.
Or it could happen with like Drew McIntyre coming out or something. Someone from the Judgment Day just to troll the fuck out of like the crowd or something.
So there's been a lot of chitter chatter on the web, as we should say, the internet, whatever you want to call it. A lot of chitter chatter. And as I always say, I don't always believe places that I read because I don't stick with them all the time. So other places that I do stick with, I believe them a little more. The places that I do stick with and read stuff, I've heard nothing. But as far as I'm hearing is, there's a possibility and rumor of Drew McIntyre being their fifth, but Drew McIntyre turning on them in the end. And honestly, I'll say this. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre had a great match at Crown Jewel. Probably match of the night. Okay, it could be argued with maybe another match or two.
Right.
Depending on, there's certain, because again, WWE is really, they're putting out that product. WWE is really doing it. But Drew McIntyre in that match, realistically, how I seen it in my eyes as a fan and how I felt, and even to some of the build up to that match, Drew McIntyre didn't feel like the heel. Seth Rollins more so felt like the heel. With a lot of the things that he was, doing and saying. You know what I mean? So as far as the chitter chatter of Drew McIntyre turning on them and becoming part of the Judgment Day, would it be cool? Yes, it would be cool. Would the visual be cool? Yes, it would be cool. But at the same time, I don't know if turning Drew heel is really going to answer, put pretty much answer the thing of like, who's next, because they don't know who's next against Seth. And they're probably going to try and do Drew and Seth again. And to turn him heel just for that? No. Because he's going to get cheered. When he does the Claymore, he's going to do the 1, 2, 3, and even if he doesn't do it, the crowd's going to count it out. Because I felt like he was more of the babyface in this situation with the video packages and stuff. I don't know how you guys felt.
Well, if he doesn't do the countdown before the Claymore, then they can't do the countdown.
But even if he still goes into the corner, he's standing there waiting for, Seth or his opponent to stand up. People are just going to count it. The crowd's going to do it. I think they would.
Stop doing a setup for the Claymore. Just do a Claymore more sporadically.
Just like out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Can do that. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, you guys said Randy Orton for the fifth member of Cody, Seth, Jay, and Sammy. Then who does the Judgment Day bring in?
Drew.
So Drew McIntyre would be your answer for...
It's already set up, between him and Rhea, the interactions. Okay. It's obvious. It's Drew. It's like Crown Jewel, Rhea pretty much was like, "I told you so." Like, you need us. She didn't say anything without. She didn't say it, but you can see that she said it. Like, she didn't say it verbally, but that little interaction is just like, yeah.
What up, Will?
Cam, who do you think? Fifth member for Judgment Days. Same
I
thing.
mean,
Drew McIntyre, or
I mean, probably Drew. I think it just makes the most logical sense storyline wise. But I could see them, and this is so far fetched, but I could see them bringing in maybe a wild card heavy. What if they contacted Bronson Reed and was like, we need some firepower on our team other than Damian Priest, brought in Bronson Reed. I could see that happening, you know, just a one-off thing.
that honestly would be a huge wild card.
So
Something they don't see coming.
right.
That would be good. That would be.
Plus, I like Bronson Reed, so
See, my fifth for Cody's team. And I know this is probably very far-fetched. Probably a little out there. But at the same time, it's not like unpredictable. But I think Brock Lesnar as the fifth member for Cody's team. And then Drew McIntyre for the fifth of Judgment Day.
It would make no fucking sense.
That's why I said it's kind of out there, but at the same time, it's a noticeable thing if they go for fifth members. And there's history there between Brock and Drew, obviously. So I know it's a little out there. And I know that, as said in the chat, he's not coming back until Rumble. But for some reason, a little bit of that feeling that maybe Brock Lesnar as their fifth. But I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. We got 2 shows yet, plus NXT before Survivor Series. Survivor Series happening next week. Or no, in 2 weeks. I apologize. 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks yet. We got 2 more shows of Raw and 2 more SmackDown before we get to Survivor Series.
I got something.
Go ahead.
So what if Brock comes back, right? But he's not necessarily a part of War Games.
Mm-hmm.
So what if he comes back like kind of like how he did at the one Hell in a Cell pay-per-view he came back at. He came back. It was during Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman a while ago, long time ago.
Oh,
and he came back, ripped the door off the hinges or whatever, and just came in there and just caused chaos. So what if Brock comes back and he goes back to being a heel Brock and he's on nobody's side and he just comes in there to cause chaos? It's very possible. You never know with Brock. See, Brock's always the wild card.
Let me throw another scenario with Brock Lesnar. You brought up a good idea. He does that. He causes chaos, especially on Seth Rollins, which causes the cash in for Damian Priest.
It's possible, and it wouldn't be a bad idea. It wouldn't. I could see it happening. At the same time, I think more so Brock would go in there and take care of Judgment Day and not so much do anything to anybody on Cody's team. Because if they keep it 4-on-4, so here would be a scenario too. If they kept it 4-on-4, say Drew McIntyre came out and went in and helped Judgment Day, and then we get Brock. Brock comes in, helps out Cody's team. Now, could Brock go in there and just take care of everybody? Yeah. But I think he would just more so in there and take care of Judgment Day. the cash in as far though, how I would see, I think something would have to happen, like maybe Brock accidentally doing something to Seth and giving Damian Priest that opportunity. This is a very open conversation because how they have it set up right now, there's no 5 members. It's 4. So it's kind of weird. Because if they add in that 5th member for each team, it's almost an obvious Drew's going to be involved. But then it leaves that who's going to be that 5th.
And people are saying like,
Or-
well, they had 3v3v3 war games, they had 4v4 before, or it's not a war game specific thing. Yes, but that was NXT. This is still also Survivor Series, and they're still trying to keep the, like they did last year, the Survivor Series tradition alive, where it's 5v5, just in war games to make it more interesting again. So what I believe is there will be a 5 versus 5. Maybe the women's war games will stay to 4v4 right now because they announced the women's war games, or they're setting it up for it, I'm sure, which we'll get into that later in the podcast, I'm sure, because I have a prediction for who the surprise member is, but I have 2 predictions, actually.
Well, as it sits right now, the matches that they have is the War Games match, the Women's World Championship match, which is Rhea defending against Zoe Stark, and The Miz is challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship.
We know who's winning that one.
I will say this, and just to kind of switch gears off of the War Games match for a little bit, for some reason, we're getting close to Rumble time. They're gonna try and make the Rumble less obvious. They're gonna try and throw it at us because a lot of the prediction is, Cody going into the Rumble and winning again, just to get back to Roman. Then other predictions are, I've heard crazy prediction of, Jimmy Uso winning and Jey Uso winning and Sami Zayn winning, Kevin Owens winning. Like, I've been hearing predictions all over the place, and we're not even out of the month of November yet, let
I'm
alone.
telling you now, Gunther's winning the Rumble. Gunther's going to be the one to win.
And that's what I'm getting to is I think The Miz is going to win and beat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship just to have Gunther in that mix. Obviously, Gunther can still be in that mix as Intercontinental Champion, but they're going to make it a little more of a bigger thing with taking that championship off of him to make it seem like he's going to go into the Rumble, win the Rumble, and become the challenger for a world title. You know what I mean?
Just give me more. Give me, like, in the year of 2024, this is what I want WWE to start doing.
Yeah.
Give me more balls through the walls, freaking like unpredictable booking ever. Like, I want there to be one match in the Gunther and Miz match could be one match.
Mm-hmm.
But like, give me a match where everybody is so confident, like one person's winning, and then the other person wins, and everybody's just like, what?
Yeah.
Royal Rumble is perfect. Everybody's gonna say, "Oh yeah, Gunther should win." Da, 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 da. Then have somebody like Jey Uso win, and everybody's just like, "What?" Like, make it so unpredictable that it just shocks everybody.
But then setting up for WrestleMania, it's going to be everybody's going to want Cody versus Roman for WrestleMania. But if that happens, it's obviously going to be Jey versus Roman, and then we know that Jey's not going to beat Roman. There's no way in hell. He's had like 3 or 4 chances to do it, and he hasn't done it.
Well, a lot of the chatter too is that Roman is only like 308 days away from tying Hogan and like 309 away from beating him or something like that. He's a little over 300 days away from beating Hogan's record. Okay. So that almost takes away in a sense, the thought of Roman even losing at Mania. Because they're this close to him beating Hogan's record.
Do you really think they're gonna have Roman beat Hogan's record though, with the fans growing kind of like tired of Roman? Like,
Yes.
I
they're,
think so.
what
The
the
theory
fans
that
gonna
I've
be
heard-
like?
The philosophy that I've heard, or the idea, I guess, that I've heard here recently, I've heard a couple of people say this. If fans are growing tired of Roman and things like that, that's exactly what they want.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the company wants. So everybody who's griping about, oh, he's not on the shows and that's exactly what they want. And if it is, and at first it took me a while to sit and like think about that, because I was like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But when I really thought about it, I was like, that's actually ingenious, because again, what normally happens with heels, a lot of people end up liking them because they're just cool, they're badass, they're the rebels, blah blah blah, right? The one thing that they want to do is create as much heat as humanly possible. Even if it's go away heat, it's still heat. So if that's what they want to do, if that's what they're trying to do, it's working. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
either way. And when you put it like that, when he's 300 something odd days away from tying Hogan and 300 some odd days away from beating Hogan, they're more than likely going to have him beat Hogan's record. So as much as I would like to believe he's losing it at WrestleMania 40, it doesn't look that way if he's that close to beating Hogan's record. More than likely.
I honestly, and I'll say this, I think he's gonna surpass at Mania. If anything, we'll see him drop it after Mania 4. I mean, he's got to make it. He's got to right now. He's got to make it to November of next year, November 2024, which means the next big event after that for him to even lose it, not even the Royal Rumble. It's got to be Mania 41. Even though Royal Rumble is a big event, they'll do it on a bigger stage. That's why I think this year, and after all this chatter this week,
But there'll be nobody left. Like, he's ran through everybody. Like,
but here's the thing though, Sean, is they don't have to do Roman and Cody this year. They don't. If they would have Gunther win the Rumble, he can go after Seth. They can have Jay or Jimmy go after Roman. Kind of like an inner battle, bloodlines, honestly, I think Jimmy, because of the fact that Jimmy hasn't had that spot yet. And what they can easily do is make it night number 1's main event. Number 2 can be something. I'm sure they could stir something up to make night number 2's main event bigger. I'm sure they could find somebody to put Cody against. Sure, they'll find something. But you can save Cody and Roman until 41. Here's the thing is, the question is yes, people are getting sick of Roman being champion. But you're still going to watch. The people that sit and say they're sick of it are still going to watch. Just for that wonder of, is tonight going to be the night? You're still going to
there's
watch.
another thing though. Another thing is that there's rumors going around that this WrestleMania 40 will be Roman's possible last match for now, because, and that he's going to lose it because his body isn't holding up from his cancer scars that he had. Like, it's not as strong as it used to be. So he taking, having Cody beat him in an I Quit match or something and take him off TV, and then him doing Hollywood like his cousin or something.
So here's the thing they can do too, and we've spoke about this before. They need to get the world title that Seth is holding up to par to where people want to see that title. Because right now, yeah, Roman's title is the focus. Even though he's not physically on TV and he's not defending it on a normal basis, anything like that, his title is still the focus. like Cam said earlier in the show, the heart grows fonder when it's further away from something it's missing. Okay, something goes away and you're interested in it, you can't see it. You're wandering and you miss it. They can have Roman go take a rest, but still be the champion. Build Seth's title up and make that title more important. I've come to the realization, and now that they have 2 world titles, I've kind of thrown away the idea of them combining those titles and making it one again. I have. I've gotten over it. Yeah, it took me a while. I've gotten over it. But they can build that title up and make it important. The thing is Seth's doing the work, but his title's not the main focus. Everybody's still wondering Roman. And if they decide to do Roman and Cody this year, another way not to make that so predictable of happening with the Rumble, don't put Cody in the Rumble. Don't even have him go in.
You better be facing for a championship then.
But here's the thing: is he can have a normal match at Rumble, like a one-on-one match with somebody. Don't have him in the Rumble.
Yes, but you're not going to put your biggest baby face in the company in the Rumble.
I mean, I would say put him in the Rumble, but then have him, because this is basically like the Shawn Michaels story when he was going after Undertaker and he was determined to beat the streak, you know. And Michaels was trying to win that Royal Rumble that time, and he got eliminated, and he was just distraught and he was broken. That's what you can do with Cody Rhodes. Put him in the match for sure, because I don't think I'm with Sean on that one. I don't think you're going to put, again, your Captain America, baby faces of the company right now, and not have him in that match. That's kind of a Daniel Bryan kind of move when they didn't have the biggest baby face, Daniel Bryan, in that match. So I say put him in the match. I say even have him be the final 3, but don't have him win the match. As soon as he gets eliminated, he's just like, distraught. That's you can build off that story right there. And then just what Scout said, have him earn the chamber spot when the chamber qualifying match. Have him win the chamber. You're not going to have him win the Royal Rumble twice. The people, that's the quickest way to get people to turn on him. That's not going to happen.
I was going to say, like he said, put him in, but he loses, and then have him go through the chamber. I was going to say, don't have him go in, and just have him win at the chamber. If they're dead set on putting Cody against Roman at 40, then have him go through the chamber. Don't make it so obvious. Don't make it so obvious.
But how does he get to the chamber though? Like, is it going to be like, oh, both brands in this chamber match, whoever wins gets to choose their title shot or something? Or?
No, basically what the traditional thing is the winner of the Rumble gets to pick who they face.
Yeah.
The winner of the Rumble picks the night after the Rumble, which sets up for the chamber. So say, for instance, Gunther wins. Gunther can choose Seth Rollins' title, and then at the chamber, the winner of the chamber goes on to take Roman.
But how do we get Cody from Raw to SmackDown? Is it going to be like both brands could qualify?
Well,
like,
see, then
matches?
No, because then it won't matter, because if Gunther goes after Seth, that pretty much puts Gunther on Raw against Seth. Essentially, he's going after the Raw title, right? So then the chamber will solely be for the SmackDown title. See what I'm saying? And then you just have qualifying matches.
But I thought the draft was after Mania.
The draft is after Mania. It is.
So, that still begs the question: how do we get Cody on SmackDown?
Another idea they can do is they can say for the chamber this year, 3 SmackDown superstars and 3 Raw superstars, because they didn't win at the Royal Rumble, so we're going to take 3 from one show, 3 from the other, and throw them in the chamber.
There you go.
When
they're going after the brand's top title, I don't think it really matters at that point, because they're actively jumping brands just going after the championship alone. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
The thing is we have the brand split. We know the brand split in a small sense doesn't matter because we still see people on other shows. At the same time, they do keep it intact, but they also can change the rules of their own stuff. Like, yeah, in the past, it would have been, okay, you pick the Raw champion, so we're going to take SmackDown. They're going to be in the chamber. This is what they're going to do. They can change the rules and say 3 and 3. That's what they can do. Or another thing they can do, and here's a little bit of a twist, they can take 2 from SmackDown, 2 from Raw, 2 from NXT.
Ooh. I kind of like that.
Take 2 top stars from NXT, like a Carmelo Hayes. Give him an opportunity. Get his feet wet on the main roster a little bit.
I like that. Yeah, I like
Why
that
not?
idea. Because then that would like be pretty much actively like their call up essentially.
Yeah.
So
What if we make it more interesting? Like the chamber this year or next year, I should say. Whoever wins gets to pick any title they want. Like U.S. Intercontinental. Obviously, the World Heavyweight will be decided already. WWE Championship, and that's how we get to that point. Like number 1 contender for any title that the person chooses.
That's
See,
not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I'm sorry, Cam. That's not a bad idea. But my thought process is you're going through the elimination chamber only to challenge for a U.S. title or an intercontinental title.
I mean, they've had it before.
Hmm.
They've had those titles on the line before.
I mean, they've had them, yeah, like in chamber matches and stuff, and we've seen, what's his name, cash in his Money in the Bank for the U.S. title, Austin Theory. But in a chamber match, I mean, if you're going to win a chamber,
It makes things more interesting.
title.
It makes things more interesting and unpredictable. I mean,
but I mean, you're not going to go through.
You could put like someone like Grayson Waller in there. Obviously, Grayson Waller is not going to go, win and be like, I want to face Roman Reigns. No, he's still a mid carder. He's going to be facing Logan Paul or fucking whoever's holding the title.
And not necessarily, because I mean that's what mid carders want to do. They want to face the main champion. So as I'm saying, like you're not gonna have WWE's quote unquote most ominous structure, most dangerous match, and then go after a mid card title. I don't think that's really worth it necessarily. You're gonna go after a Roman Reigns. You're gonna go after.
They've done things that don't make sense. They had fucking, like you said, Austin Theory cash in and become U.S. champion.
Yeah, but see, they made that make sense though. See, that to me was like it didn't make sense at first, but then they made it make sense, and it was like, okay.
And I'm sure they can make sense afterwards too.
So for me, like what you're talking about, I feel like they should save that kind of thing for Money in the Bank because Austin Theory's already done it. So what they should do with the Money in the Bank briefcase is take that and you can go after whatever title, mid card, main, whatever. That's what they should do for Money in the Bank.
I believe they changed that rule. I think like 2 years ago they changed that rule, but ultimately the person who had the briefcase went after the world title, and then last year Austin Theory actually put it into effect and won the United States title. To add on real quick with the chamber though, the thing is your Royal Rumble winner will pick what championship they're going to go after. Your chamber person, if they were to go with the idea of the chamber winner to go after any championship they want, and say, for example, they did and said, I'm going to go after the Intercontinental title. Now you got to find another road on how you're going to get your actual number 1 contender and build more of a story than you already have to go after the world title that's open for challenge. Because one, it's obvious Cody wins the Rumble, he's going after Roman. Okay? So if we don't get Cody to win the Rumble, then the winner of the Rumble, as of right now, the obvious looks like Seth's title. And then if we get Chamber and we get Cody in the Chamber, then, the obvious at that moment would be Cody. Could they throw that curveball? They can. But ultimately,